Right then, so we're now live. I'm live today with Brett Graham. We're of the BSG group with Tyron Ash Real Estate. Brett, introduce yourself. Anybody that doesn't know you, who are you, and what do you do as an agent?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so my name is Brett Graham. I work for Tyron Ash Real Estate with my own company, which is called the BSG Group, and we're partnered with Tyron Ash Real Estate. We're sort of real estate agents working in the UK. I cover sort of Surrey and Kingston and West London, really, is sort of my area. We're just selling property, luxury, especially more on the luxury end, focusing on those sort of high net worth clients, and just giving them a complete service from top to bottom, really.
Nice one. Nice one. So, what interests me a lot when I see you guys, especially with the Tyron Ash Group, is you're not actually estate agents, you're real estate agents. So, what are some of the key differences between real estate and also estate agency?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I would describe estate agency as sort of the typical high street agents where you go into an office and they've got an office presence with with all their sort of marketing and everything, and they've got a sales negotiator, sales chaser, the owner of the sort of the office branch, and you're getting paid on a salary. And then you get a little bit of commission to sort of, per house you sell or maybe list or whatever the agreement is. Whereas real estate, we would define that more going alongside sort of the American / Australian models, where, it's a commission only job and you're sort of setting up your own firm, your own company within a brokerage. So in this instance, Tyron Ash Real Estate, which allows me to then set up my own company and then work, and really earn what I deserve, and instead of getting a salary and a little bit of commission, I take full control of the process. So I'm almost, it's more of an individual service. You're not dealing with 4 different people, from the negotiator to the valuer to the sales chaser. You're dealing with me from start to finish. You're getting that personal service, and you're really sort of, getting more, getting what you deserve really as a client, I feel. So this allows me to deliver the best service. And also for me personally, as a businessman, it allows me to, earn what I deserve as well, It's a performance job. It's more risky, but, for someone like me and, high performing agents, it's definitely the way to go, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, you're kind of your main contact point for your clients, if not your only contact point for any kind of problem that they have. Obviously, that allows you to have a much more bespoke and personal service, right? And you can be on hand whenever they need you. So what are some things that you're doing for your clients differently during this moment in time, which is really difficult for them? Maybe some estate agents, independently or corporate, maybe they can't do that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I know a lot of sort of corporate and, independent agents at the moment are struggling with a lot of them are being furloughed, or, they're not really working at the minute. Some have had to close down, I know of personally. So whereas, we're still running at capacity, we're still going at full capacity at the moment, which is obviously good. And some of the ways of doing that is, like I say, people obviously calling me, directly. I'm their direct contact, like you say. So some things that we've had to adapt to, obviously, with the situation with the coronavirus. So we're doing video viewings, which are really working well. So I've been getting my vendors to, shoot a video for me of their property, like a walkthrough tour. And then what I'll do is I'll get them to send that over to me. I edit it up and sort of, I'm quite handy with editing and everything. So edit that up, and then I'll send that to all potential buyers that are still looking. Because, there really are still people looking out there, especially now everyone's sat at home, and maybe they realize that, they've got 2 kids who are normally at school. Now they're at home and they realize we really don't actually have enough space now. So there's a lot of people that are looking, especially in that sort of detached property, / big gardens and everything. People are really interested in that now, and they want their space back, really. So, what we're finding is, the video viewings are working, and then we can sort of either agree to do a virtual sale throughout the whole process, or maybe we'll get an offer accepted, and then once normality resumes and they can view the property, then that's when everything will start to go through, really.
Yeah, nice, for sure. I mean, also in terms of adapting, you did a virtual open house the other day, right?
Yes, yeah, which was
really... How does that work?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is setting up a Zoom meeting, effectively, or similar to that, and then getting the video shown of the property, and sending it to. What I like to do personally is, I don't want my vendor to have to keep redoing the same house video. I've seen a lot of people that will do like, they'll be in a 3-way conversation, or like their vendor will be walking around the property live whilst I'm then talking, but I don't want them to have to keep doing that 5 or 6 times. So I get them to send it over to me once. And then what I do is I get the person to, the people that are in the call, I'll send it to them via email. Then they'll all click play, and then I'll sort of talk through it at the same time. We're all sort of on the same, on the same key then. And then, pretty much, just like as I would in a normal viewing, just talking about the property, this room, like a private study, or this is the reception room, give them the property specifics as I normally would in a normal viewing situation. And then, just sort of then after that's over, obviously give them all a call privately, talk to them about, what they thought of the property, where their head's at in terms of offering, or maybe, what they need to do to get to offer, anything that I can be of help of really, and sort of get the process moving for the clients.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything you've done differently recently in terms of obviously your marketing as well? I know your personal brand is a pretty big thing for you in your own self-employed estate agency, but is there anything in terms of marketing you've done differently recently?
Yeah, so I've definitely tried to show how we're adapting in our marketing. So I recently created a post which was like a vendor's guide to a virtual sale. So that was kind of like showing the full steps from from A to Z of how we're going to get your house sold without the need for me to come in and do all the normal things that we would do. So that's definitely one thing I've been doing, and really, just keeping people updated on the different things that we're doing. At the same time, we're still working things out. We're finding things that are working and are not working. So, just keeping people updated really, I think, is the key message, along with just in the same way that the government are kind of working out what they're doing. We also need to work out what we're doing and what works. And, I'm just, keeping people updated, being that sort of voice to the people really.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, in terms of your personal brand, what do you think is, made your personal brand successful? Why is that important in your own estate agency, especially as a self-employed estate agent as well? Why is that really, really important for you, especially as like a touch point, if you like, for any kind of vendors out there that may be looking to you for the right advice?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So for me, I think, the personal brand is really big. That's essentially like, I almost like to think of that as my office. So, where a high street agent has an office in a bricks and mortar building, this is where I can showcase all the properties that I've got on for sale, the marketing strategy that I'll be using as well. It's almost like a video interview as well, if you like. All the clients that will potentially work with me get to see how I do things on a daily basis, and what I've done from other clients and how it's been successful. It's almost like a case study in itself, really. So that's a big part of it for me. It's definitely very important for me, my personal brand. And, I think the main thing for me is consistency. So it's not really, I have a very set guide on what I upload and when I upload. So I make sure to upload a certain amount of times per week. And, I've got scheduled posts that I do, which is obviously a really big point for me, because that's how, you get the most engagement is, being consistent really. And also really just having an eye for content, I think. So there's some people that are consistent, which I'll give them that, but they don't really, put too much effort into the posts maybe, or they don't really know what they're doing, which is fair enough. Some of these people might be high street agents and they're, a bit older than myself, and they don't really know what they're doing in the world of social. So, whereas me, I'm, obviously a young guy, I'm 23, I kind of know what I'm doing with social media. And obviously also goes back to sort of my managing director, Tyron Ash. He's obviously huge on Instagram. He's got the game on lock really. So it's also really useful to learn from him and get sort of a better idea on how to, really maximize and leverage your social media.
Yeah. So is that, something that you use to start conversations with people? Right now, you see more of an increase in people reaching out to you. I mean, how do people mainly find you? Is it mainly through your personal brand and they reach out to you through that?
Yeah, so a lot of the time, it's through my personal brand or through maybe one of the teams. Obviously, we're very sort of interconnected. So, if anyone has any inquiries in sort of West London, Surrey, people will instantly from the team will refer me over to, refer them to me really. But I am finding definitely an increase in people. Obviously, I think a lot of people are now, there's more people on social media than ever, I think, and they're spending more time on there as well because there's nothing else to do. So, I'm definitely finding an increase in people coming to me and getting a lot of properties. For instance, one of my latest listings in Chelsea, that was through social media, is how I got the property. which was a big help. And I'm definitely finding it as a big benefit as well for when I'm talking to vendors that maybe aren't aware of social media, or, that how we use it to help sell properties. I'm definitely finding that people are now more interested in sort of learning how social media can help sell their home, really.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what would you say? You spoke a little bit about agents who maybe aren't so big on the personal brand and social media side. What are some of the things that you see mainly wrong with their content, and what are some kind of like steps that they can take maybe to understand social more and understand, the importance of personal branding, or building their brand for the high street agent in their estate agency?
Yeah, I think one of the problems is they don't connect. So there's a lot of, what I see in high street agents is they'll just maybe post the properties, or, they'll just say, yeah, we've just listed this 500K property, it's in, Surrey, or it's in Kingston, message for more details. And that's all they really post. It's just a list of their properties. There's no face to it, which is one problem, I think. And also, even if there is a face to it, I think sometimes people can be very selfish with the way that they create content. So they don't provide value. It's all me. And, it's please get in contact with me if you need help selling your house, I want to sell your house, that sort of message. Whereas I kind of believe in giving value, letting people know, how we can help you, what steps you can take, providing free value, I think, is one of the easiest ways to get people to like you and also to trust you, really. And alongside that, I think also just showing off your personality, you are who you are, and, people will either connect with you or they won't. I think I definitely, one thing about the sort of personal branding is you do alienate a few people. Some people definitely don't like you, but at the end of the day, that's good, because the people that do like me really like me.
Yeah.
And then I get to work with these people. So that's one of the big positives, I think. So I think agents need to be afraid to sort of, stand out. They don't need to be afraid to stand out. And, I think people want to just toe the line and kind of just, hopefully they just pick up as many people as they can by looking professional. But you want to be professional, but also have a personality. And I think for me, I've heard a quote, I can't remember who from, but, one of the worst things that you can be is sort of unrememberable. You need to be remembered, even if it's maybe not for the right reasons. At least you're in their mind, really.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you ever get any kind of like negative comments on your social media, or maybe, not maybe constructive DMs, for example, or constructive criticism, just kind of negativity, really? And how do you deal with that if you ever get it? Because that's a big thing, that's a big factor for a lot of agents. They won't build their personal brand, even if they're, a self-employed agent. That's a massive like fear factor, if you like. How do you deal with that? And, how do you recommend agents deal with it?
Yeah, I do think a lot of people are actually, like you say, scared of kind of showing themselves and, opening up to the public effectively. You're definitely opening yourself up to criticism, for sure. But, for me, working in sales sort of my whole career, I'm not really too bothered with criticism anyway. I've kind of learned to deal with it, in my daily life. Before this sort of lockdown, I like to go out door knocking and sell to prospective, clients who are on the market. So I'm very used to, having a door slammed in my face, or, anything like that. So that's kind of rejection, and sort of isn't too big, a problem for me. Definitely learned how to handle that over the years. And I think naturally I've been very good at it anyway throughout my life. But yeah, I think the criticism part, you definitely do get a little bit of criticism, for sure. Especially when I started off, I look back at, but, to be fair, it was quite justified. I look back at like my first video I did, and it was terrible. I was all over the place, moving. I was doing like a two-step, and I was, jittering all over the place. Didn't know any, couldn't do punctuation. I wasn't stopping. I was just flying through it as quick as possible. So, I definitely think there's been constructive criticism, which has helped me, because I've got a lot of people that like me and a lot of people that are behind me, which is always useful. So I've definitely received a lot of constructive criticism, which has definitely helped me to become a better presence in front of the camera. Negative wise, there's not been too much, I would say. There's maybe the odd bit, but just brush it off, really, just like as I would with anything. If there's any merit in it, anything that I can learn from, I'll always sort of, I like to look inwards and, definitely see if there is any value in what they've said. But if it's just as simple as, something completely, nonsensical, then you just pretty adept at just wiping it clean, really.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as kind of like estate agents, as salespeople, I guess you are kind of opened up, I guess, more exposed to people not liking it in a way than say other industries. So
definitely.
Yeah, in terms of obviously advice that you're giving to your vendors at this time, then as a self-employed agent, as the main point of contact, what has kind of been your message to your vendors and also your message to other vendors out there that you can help?
Yeah, so I think there's definitely a time now for some people where this is actually surprisingly like a really good time to go to the market. And then there's also some people where maybe you want to hold fire. So I think it's about being honest and having integrity. I think definitely wins you the long game, and that's the way that I look at it. But yeah, I mean, some conversations I'm having with people is like, this is really a good time to go on the market. Your house is kind of perfect for the sale in effect. And, we're still getting sales through, especially kind of like investment properties, I think is a really big thing right now. Investors, people that are cash rich are still buying. So,
Yeah.
and luxury property along with that. So, I'm having no trouble distinguishing people, there's a lot of serious people in the market still, because these people have got the money to buy, and a lot of them still realize that they need to buy now. This is like one of the biggest chances they're going to get to maybe get a deal or get some to kind of push something through. So what we found is at the moment there's maybe less buyers than there was before, but the people that are in the market are really serious. So before you may have had time wasters, maybe like 70% of the people are just time wasters. Whereas now, you don't really have any, maybe 5%. So, whereas maybe it would have taken 10 viewings to get an offer, now you're looking at sort of, if you've got 5 viewings, you've probably got 3 offers on the table. So it's definitely, it's a different market, but it's still, workable. And we're still definitely producing some good results. I'm just waiting to tie up a deal, hopefully today or tomorrow, on a property in Chelsea. It's a little sort of flat, 2-bed flat. So, yeah, stuff's still pushing through, which is good. So yeah, I'm kind of just talking to vendors, reassuring them that this is it's a tricky time and it is a little bit different. But if you want to take the steps to work with me, if you're happy to sort of do your own photos and get some basic stuff done that can allow me to sell the property, then we can still do this and we can still help you out. And the main thing as well is you're in a market now where less people are selling the houses, so there's not as much competition within houses. So you're almost kind of putting yourself in a decent position just by being the only one on the in that area. Maybe you might be the only house for a few streets. So kind of the people that are looking are kind of almost forced to go to your house, which is obviously useful. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad time to sell. And I think also alongside that, if you were to wait until everything goes back to normal, that's kind of what 90% of the people are going to do. So yeah. As soon as the market, kind of alleviates and, the coronavirus sort of, dies down, I think there's going to be a massive influx of properties on the market. And subsequently, maybe prices will drop, who knows? You can't tell the future, but I definitely think, it could maybe be a harm in waiting. That's for sure. So that's what I'm kind of talking to my vendors about, that's for sure.
Yeah, nice one. Sure. So just finally, how would you, recommend any other agents out there that's maybe struggling with their lead generation right now? How can they, reach those buyers that are still looking and they're still very serious? And how can they reach those vendors that are still looking to sell? Is just a final point there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So what I'm doing is a lot of sort of my outreach has obviously changed. So before, maybe I would go direct to the house and, knock on the door, talk to them face to face. Obviously that's limited now. I can't really do that. So one of the ways that I'm prospecting is really heavily through social media and LinkedIn, but also I'm still getting direct to the vendors that I want to speak to, but in a different way. So what I'm doing is I've sort of drafted up a big letter that I've sent out to a lot of clients and then handwritten on it. And then, those are sort of then going in the post, the mailman will be delivering them. And, that's kind of just a letter offering my services, not just as an agent, but also maybe if they need any, prescription pickups or, they need food shopping done for them, anything like that we can help out with, as well as if they're still looking to, they're on the market. So, if they're, they need any help in the home during this time, I'd love to help you out. And, I think we could do something. And then just my contact details really. But then, yeah, like you say, another way is, for buyers and also for sellers is, I'm really big on sort of LinkedIn and Instagram for sure. So yeah, just outreach on there is definitely a way to prospect, especially for listings. It's very useful. And also, but buyers as well. There's a lot of people that work, maybe for like high net worth offices, family offices, or investors. There's investors are plenty on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's just about being active, I think, is the main thing. You can't just, especially in a market like this, you can't just sit around and wait for the phone to ring or the inquiries to go through, because there is a lot less of them. So you've really got to go out and chase it. And this isn't an easy market. But as long as you work and you keep putting the time in and the energy in, there's no reason why you can't get business done. That's for sure.
Nice one. I love that at the end there. So yeah, great tips. Great, really insightful actually, especially about the differences with real estate, what you're doing as a self-employed agent, and what other agents can learn from you. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I definitely think, just adding to that, I mean, I think the real estate model isn't for everybody. I think but there's definitely some, it's a risk. You're only getting paid by commission, so it's tricky. But if you're prepared to put the work in, and you really feel like you're at the top of your game, maybe a top producer in a company and a high street agent, then I think that it's the time to seriously consider, maybe making the jump to self-employed. If you feel like you can put the work, if you put the work in, you're a hard worker, you're good at what you do, and you've got good, contacts, then it's definitely the way to earn what you deserve, and not really get left in the dust. I mean, because I think what will happen is, over the next kind of coming maybe 5 years, the rise of like the personal agent will be, will be massive, and any sort of high streets or, independents, and I think corporate especially, will probably get left in the dust. So yeah, it's definitely a time, I think now more than ever as well, being that we're all locked down and maybe certain agents aren't working, it's probably a good time to, have a career evaluation and have a think, maybe find as much information as you can. I'm always open if people want to message me to find out a little bit more, and maybe gain some insight onto the self-employed sort of life. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And for anybody that might be, evaluating their career, really.
Yeah, sure. So where can people find you? Actually, I forgot to include that. Where can they find you?
So my Instagram is at @BrettGraham_real estate. And then on LinkedIn, if you just search Brett Graham, I should be pretty close to the top. And then Facebook is Brett Graham /real estate.
Nice one.
Okay.
Awesome.